Welcome back again, where this time for sure there was an anime intro. And totally not a regular intro like the last episode, right?
Yeah, I'm definitely finished with it by now.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah. Not
don't even
gonna.
question it.
Yeah. If you see
You
a,
should have like,
if you see something else that's also anime intro looking like, it's totally not the one we're hinting at.
uh,
Yeah.
you should at the end of each episode, at the beginning after the intro at each episode, have like a little Majora's Mask thing pop up on the screen, like this many episodes till 100, giving you work. But after you did it the first time, it'd be easy to do it all the other
So
times.
like right after the short intro, then put that Majora's Mask thing,
Yeah,
and then start. Okay. Let me write that down. That's a funny idea. I like it.
yeah,
With the sound effects. Yeah.
yeah. Get in there.
I really like that. Okay. Yeah, you keep talking while
Thought
I
you'd
write this down
appreciate it.
because I got it.
So, Sans is not an Undertale, you dickheads. He's a me costume.
People are excited about that, and like, listen, it
I
looks.
think it's cool.
Yeah, it looks. It doesn't look like a me character gunner skin.
Yeah.
It looks like a sand skin. But there's no of those sound effects that he does. There's no final smash with Papyrus in it. He's got this gun, which is just a me
Yeah.
gunner. He acts like a me gunner. You,
And I
you
think
got
that was smart,
Megalovania
by
in
the
there,
way.
which is cool. Which
Yeah.
was made by Tomy Fox, a new remix, but like, it's not Sans. It's just
Yeah.
it's still a costume. I don't know.
Yeah.
You want to be happy, cool, but
I think it's cool just because he got representation in Smash, and I think it was a smart way to go about it because most people who were saying Sans for Smash were not being serious about it. So I think that was the smartest way to go about it, honestly.
sorry, I'm distracting.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I don't. We were gonna record Mackle and Zatch on it. We were having a lot of issues that day. We also keep forgetting to use the server instead of doing a voice call when we do those. The server always works better.
Yeah, we should. I thought about that when we ended the call. We should have done the voice thing on
Yeah.
the server for sure. That might have been better.
Do you? I know we talked about it in a call already. Do you want to? Since we talked about it in the first episode, we hinted at it. Do you want to talk about Invader Zim?
Yeah, right after I finish writing this, I'm trying to make sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else at E3 that I gave a shit about? Well, not E3, Nintendo Direct. I can't. I don't know. I don't think I actually was that interested in this one. Honestly, like us missing that recording probably wasn't that big of a deal. I think the only thing I would have done of significance is when I saw that cooking option in Pokemon. I would have started like getting overhyped about that, like people did with Sans. I would have had that kind of reaction where I blow the microphone out. Just that's the only joke I could think of the entire time we were watching it. Is just praise like the most mundane, uninteresting things.
Okay, I think I got it.
Like, yeah, I had nothing. There was nothing to work
I was
with.
very excited hearing the second mention of that new Game Freak game, that little town hero recently called Town. People are upset about it, and I do understand completely, because they're saying like this is what Game Freak took some money for to put in, rather than their new Gen 8 Pokemon games, which I can understand. You know, they're hearing about everything that's going on and seeing all the laziness that's going on over there, cutting corners and for a game like this, like I'm excited for this town game, but I'm not excited about the mechanics. Kind of, they showed it off in the trailer a bit. Um, it's kind of like you're going around this map and getting some of the townsfolk to help you out during the battle. It's a bit weird, I don't know, but it is what it is. But
Yeah.
I feel like maybe they should have delayed the game when they're not currently working on the first Pokemon games for a brand new generation. I feel like this was a
Yeah.
terrible time to put out a brand new game that they want to work on. They could have held off on it, I feel like. So I can understand people's frustration on that, but it is a shame that it is around this time. Like, in case if this game is good, people won't know it because they don't want to care about it just because of this whole Pokemon controversy, which is kind of a shame because people aren't really even giving it a chance without maybe not even knowing anything about it. Whether or not it's good, that's kind
What
of
are they
a
upset
trade.
with? Like, do they not think the new Pokemon game is going to be good? Like, what are they complaining about? There's a new Pokemon game coming out.
Yeah, you're not really playing the games that much. There's a lot of stuff that since the National Dex thing was announced, there's a lot of people that notice other things of Game Freak cutting corners and being lazy with the new Sword and Shield games, which I can totally see personally.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, they're still how they are, but I don't know. I mean, we didn't record our reaction, so I can't really have any evidence to this. You're my only witness here, but you heard my reactions. Like, they're bringing back mechanics that are already in past games. There's been even copy and pasting of moves. Like, this is the first Pokemon games on a console other than Let's Go, Pikachu, and Eevee. There's literally moves that they copy and pasted from X and Y, which came out in like 2013 or something. A Gen 6 Pokemon games, like certain moves are literally copy and pasted into this new one. They didn't remake the animations or anything, even though that's what they promised also, which is a very it's a hypocritical statement, because they say they're cutting money, they're cutting stuff from the National Dex to save money to put into other things like animations, and then the animations aren't even updated, and there's other things like trees in the wild area that look like something out of Ocarina of Time.
I don't think hypocritical is the right word.
Yeah, I know.
I hear your complaint. I hear the complaint, though.
Yeah. It's just
yeah, I guess I don't have a lot to say about that because I'm uninformed on it. But yeah, if they're cutting corners,
but in relation to this
series.
little town hero game, the ego on people to feel like they shouldn't even put any research into finding out what this game is even about, just because of, you know, this was made because of the Pokemon thing, or the Pokemon thing was made because of this, or the way it is now, and you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
It's dumb.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We talked about a movie last episode, and we both seen it. Invader Zim, Enter the Florpus. So we both talked about it, and I'll just like say after that, we're both like pretty big fans of this. I'm not even the biggest fan of the franchise Invader Zim, but I after seeing the film, I feel like I should binge watch the whole show, because I actually fell in love with this film and like the episodes that are available online on this channel called YTV. There's only a few episodes up, but they're all hilarious. Like, honestly, as an adult, like, there's some jokes that they're so creative, and it's a shame that for now it's not confirmed or anything. Nothing's been officially said, but I hope the show comes back, and I wish it was still around, even on Nickelodeon. Although I would prefer it to be on Netflix because it's more accessible that way. But yeah, such a great show, such a fun show. Yeah, it is. I do really like it. The movie. I honestly, last episode you were talking about an animation style being different, and I couldn't tell from the trailer. I actually rewatched an episode of Zim after watching the movie, and I'm like, oh my god!
Yeah, I didn't realize that before I saw episodes 2.
But what everyone's saying, and I agree with this so much, is it's still close enough.
And it's not even offensively bad either.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's fine. It's a bit
really
kiddie. It's a bit up modern day kid show looking, but not as badly. It's still got some effort put into it, right?
Yeah,
I'd say.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's not bad.
And it's also just like it just kind of reflects the creator of the shows. His art style has changed. He's kind of changed.
I think the colors. There's more brighter colors in this one compared to the older show as well. I don't know if you can hear the lawnmower, by the way.
What?
Do you hear a lawnmower, by the way?
I don't hear a lawnmower.
Okay, in my end, maybe on the recording, I don't know, but...
Someone mowing their lawn now?
Yeah, my dad. But yeah, no, the film's great. I've seen it twice. I'd see it another 100 times. It's fantastic.
At least he doesn't mow his lawn at 12 a.m. at night like Austin's neighbor does.
I was looking in the comments section after I saw the film this morning, and yeah, I saw that. I didn't even think of that, and so many people in the comment section brought that up. It's so great. Like, he's saying one scene, he's saying like, "Keep it down," you know, it's late at night. Next scene, he's mowing a lawn at night. I
love it. I talked about this. I did a derailed on it today. I released the derailed today. And I talk about this at one point. I just love it because he goes to his house and there's not even noise being made yet. He just tells them ahead of time, please don't make any noise, and then mows his lawn at like 2 a.m.
Like an hour later. after he tells the guy to keep it down. I
That's
guess we're on a
funny as
Hammer Boys
hell.
discussion now if you want to get to it.
Well, I could talk more about Invader Zim. I just thought it was a good segue to bring that part
Yeah.
up because you mentioned your dad mowing the lawn.
Yeah. He should have timed
Invader-
it for later in the podcast.
Yeah, your dad should have. He should have been more considerate.
No, I mean the timing though. I don't care about consideration. It's just like, you know, if you're
No,
going
I'm
to
talking
do it,
about
do
your-
it at the right time when we're going to segue properly after this topic is done.
Well, if your dad would have started mowing the lawn a little later, then we could have made the joke a little later.
I
That's all
literally
I'm
just
saying.
said that, but you're just translating it differently. Congratulations.
No, because that's what I said in the first place, and then you corrected me. So we both said the same thing 3 times now.
Fuck you.
Fuck you. I went to school. I'm back in college now, final semester.
Okay.
And on a whiteboard in one of the offices, there was a picture of Gurr screaming and the moose guy, and it said chicken and rice.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I'm like, as I've gotten older, when I was a kid, it was easy to make me laugh with random shit. But as I got older, it was just like, I don't really like that lol, haha, random kind of humor anymore. I think that's just part of growing up. You don't really, a character screaming something nonsensical doesn't make you laugh as an adult. But Gurr's like a character that just gets away with it.
Invader Zim characters are also cute, and I feel like
Yeah.
even... See, the thing is, modern day TV shows, to compare it to Invader Zim, look, listen, voice actors, they try their best. It's their job anyway. They get paid to do this, and I'm sure they're very humble about it, and they do their best. But the Invader Zim voice actors, they put so much energy into their voices and everything that it makes not only the animations better, but like, I don't know, it's just everything. Makes the lines, the moments, everything better. Like screaming at the top of your lungs, and like the voice for Invader Zim is like, his voice does this thing. I don't know if it's on purpose, but like sometimes it cracks a bit, like something. I hear it sometimes with that, and like I don't know, you just don't hear that. I don't know. It's very unique. They're very talented people, and I feel like it stands out in the whole show. Not just the voice actor for Invader Zim, but everyone else who works on the show, who voices on the show. Everyone has their own unique thing they're bringing to it, and to compare it to modern day shows with the randomness, it just saying vaguely just because of the random jokes, and just saying Gurr, I don't know. I feel like everyone on Invader Zim has that, just like Gurr. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't articulate for the life of me, but yeah.
It's a very energized show, and I just think it's one of the only shows that has gotten away with being like a screaming fit every time it's on, and just, it's funny though. It doesn't annoy me. It's funny.
Even like random side characters. I told you this when we were watching the Nintendo Direct or after, like that pink alien when the scientist dad in the prison says like what's gonna happen, like, what? That's crazy, yo! Like, what is that delivery? It's so random and so odd, but the delivery was fantastic, and the look, the animation department putting that stupid look on their face, just together, the perfect combination. Throughout the whole movie, it was great. Yeah. And even on the show, when watching the show, same thing. It's such a
for sure.
I don't know why I didn't care about it as much as a kid, but I appreciate it so much more as an adult now. It's a very fun show. Makes me laugh a lot.
Yeah. I loved Invader Zim as a kid, and then it got like a cult following, mainly because of Gurr, and I like Gurr, but I don't think I think Zim and Dib are the best characters. Like, it's a very obvious ones. I can respect saying Gaz is your favorite too. Gurr is an amazing side character. I don't think he's the funniest, like even close to the funniest, but I like that he's there a lot. I like the tallest too.
The tallest. Yeah. I was watching the first episode a while back. I remember Gurr, like the first time he gets introduced to Zim, and like I think he says a line, or the first thing that he says to Zim is just like this really random laugh. He just laughs out of nowhere, like, I don't know. It just really like outrageous and stupid, but it was like he's like this character who's just like, he's got a screw loose and he's just a bit insane. But like
Well,
deep
he
down, he
shows
just
up
wants.
with
I heard like theories like deep down he just wants to kill himself and commit suicide, but he's still very devoted to Zim and to destroying the Earth. And but his wiring is also like it
yeah. Well,
overlaps
he's a
his primary objective. Like
yeah.
that's just his character. I love it.
He was a broken one.
Yeah.
I really like. I just really like it because it's like. I think when he first comes up, like he has like integrity for like 5 seconds, and then Zim asks him something, and then he's like, "I don't know," and then from there on, he's really stupid.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah.
But I love
yeah,
that. I just love the adding in like he's not just a robot with a screw loose. He's a character who's pretty much insane, and
Yeah.
having that within Zim's ego and Dib's serious heroic energy that he gives off, and then you just have Gurr who's just he brings this randomness to the show, and sometimes there's unexpectedness, like when there's an episode that is one of the few ones that's online, an episode where Zim fixes his wiring and he gets smart, and he's so smart that he realizes Zim is even beneath him, so Gurr tries to take over the world and all that.
Yeah, Gurr goes crazy.
Which, by the way, is a hilarious episode. There's a guy who gets mind controlled by Zim and puts the brain of a squid in him, and by the end of the episode, the man jumps into the ocean, thinking he's a squid.
Have you ever seen the Head Pigeons episode?
I don't know.
It's the episode where I don't know if that's the name of the episode. Actually, I forget. It's like it might be called Dark Harvest, but Zim is collecting a bunch of organs from other students.
Okay.
Really disturbing. Very like they show Zim with all these organs in here, and then he like burps, and like some of them fall out, and he puts them back in because he's under the impression that the more organs you have, the more human you are.
There's a lot of dark tones for a show that was for a kid show. Like there was one episode that's also available online where there's one day there's this big invisible dome around the Earth, and Zim goes outside of the planet to investigate, and there's these two guys that are pulling the Earth toward the sun, and and like Zim saves the day, but at the end of it, but like it's dark when you think about like if Zim didn't care to investigate or anything, the Earth would have just been destroyed or something.
Yeah. The Halloween episode is awesome. I don't know if you've seen that one.
No, I don't think
that one is. It's really bizarre. It's like really, really out there. I don't even know if I can say it's like the most disturbing episode, but it's just like it's like a fever dream. I thought the Invader Zim movie had. I watched it twice. The first time I watched it, I feel like I was waiting for the crazy shit to happen. I told you this in the call before, and I thought that the first 30 minutes were kind of paced poorly. Because it's just like 30 minutes of stuff happening. Like, you know, like, yeah, Dib comes back, but like there's a montage of Gurr continuously finding stuff for Zim, and it's not the right thing. Zim's trying to remember his plan. It's like a clusterfuck. And then when I rewatched it, though, I really loved the ending, and like the third act was amazing. Then when I rewatched it, I don't know, like the first and second act went a lot more smoothly for me. Like I liked it a lot more the second time I watched it.
I'm totally fine with a show that comes back and like takes the first half hour to get yourself reintroduced to the characters and what they're doing,
but I felt like it was. I felt like even for that, it wasn't doing an amazing job. I just felt like, but again, that's like first impression. First impression. When I rewatched it, I was happy with it.
Dib spends his whole time in a chair, just in his room, watching and observing. And one moment he looks away. Oh, I gotta go back, and Zim was just on the toilet the whole time.
That's hilarious too. Don't get me wrong. I don't just like accept it now. I like it now. It's just like it took a second viewing for me to appreciate everything.
I love the idea of that too. Like it's like a bit of a fourth wall thing. Like how long the show's been off, like 20 years almost. Like this whole time you've just been sitting on the toilet, Zim. Like that's what Zim's been doing fourth wall with. I don't know.
The only critique I really have against it is that with the animation on the tallest ones. Go back and watch it again. You'll probably notice they did do a lot of, and I don't think this was out of laziness. I think this was out of budget because this special nothing about this movie looks lazy at all. But the animation on the tallest ones, they kind of switched to layer animation, where they're just using the same models and making them move their arms and mouth around. And they have the same facial expression throughout the entire scene. Like, and it works good for those scenes because if you're gonna pick a character to do that with, the tallest ones are perfect for that because they're not very expressive people. But there are clear, like, just few instances with, like, where clearly budget was an issue, and that's one of them. They also do some motion blurs, which looks really weird in a cartoon.
I don't know if that's what you're mentioning, but I remember watching this one review of it, and they showed like an example of like there was a shot of Dib, and there was like clearly another layer of Dib like showing for like a second, or, like overlapping a bit.
I saw that too. Did you watch the Rebel Taxi video on it?
Might have been that one.
Yeah. I saw that too. That's not a problem to me. That's a little.
It's a little thing for if you pause and just see it, but yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes people also mistake animation errors, and I'm not saying that wasn't an animation error, but sometimes people mistake animation errors for something they do to make the movement look more smooth. Like,
I feel like the thing you said with the tallest is a fine critique compared to the little 1 second.
Yeah, like thing. If you watch it again, you'll be able to tell it. Like, it still has really good color. It's still like, and again, if you're gonna pick it. It was really smart of them. If they had to do it for a scene, it's really smart for them to do it with that scene. But if you watch it again, you can tell that it's like significantly more lazy than anything in the movie. Like, it looks like a web cartoon. But again, I don't think it was out of laziness. I think it was like, okay, we have to cut corners somewhere. This is an obvious place to cut corners because we have a limited budget to make this. Animation is expensive. I really enjoyed it. Like, I feel like that is a critique, but it's a small critique.
Yeah. If they did bring back the show and put it on exclusively on Netflix, since animation's a big problem, and with the recent, I don't know if you even heard this, maybe you did, but like Netflix has been saying like they're recently gonna cut costs on shows, like budgets on upcoming stuff, like Netflix exclusive stuff. So if they do decide to like bring back Invader Zim exclusively on Netflix, might and that's not one movie, that's a bunch of episodes. Could be like 20 episodes for one season. How many corners might they have to cut? Which is sad to think of.
A show like two animated shows I like on Netflix: F is for Family and BoJack Horseman. Those are animated shows, but they have like a pretty simplistic style. Like, I don't know how the hell you cut the budget on those two shows. They have a style where they can reuse the same character models again and again and again.
I don't think they said
Invader Zim, you could not do that.
Yeah, I don't think they're saying they're cutting every budget by half, like not that drastically, but but if they were cutting corners with what they were given for this one film, I mean, if they're doing 20 episodes,
Yeah, I wonder what they're gonna do with Disenchantment. Because that show actually does have like pretty good animation.
Didn't they put out a second trailer? They're already doing the second season. I mean,
the trailer for season 2 came out. It's coming out September 20th. I'm excited for it. It's not going to be. It's not a binge show for me. It's not something I sit down and watch like entirely in one day like BoJack. But
I might give Disenchantment another go one day. Yeah. I'm watching Dexter, which, by the way, I told you last time, like, I thought I was on the last season, and I told you, like, man, this season does not feel like a last season, and, like, the season ended, and then it was like, oh, season 8, episode 1, I'm like, oh, there's a whole brand new season, like, this is the final season I'm finally on, I'm like, oh, no wonder the last season didn't feel that ending, like, but, yeah, the 7th season was just bad, that's why, it just went on, and it has so many random things going on. You haven't seen Dexter, so I'm not going to spoil anything, but yeah.
I don't know if I could watch it. I feel bad to say this. I don't know if I can get into a show where it just, like, everyone hates how it ends, The
like, first 5 seasons I love, though. I think they're great.
Yeah. I will probably never watch Game of Thrones because of what everyone says about how they rushed the end and it's not good.
Which is a shame.
It is a shame.
I might still watch Game of Thrones eventually if I ever get the opportunity to, but that thought of like, oh, that last season, that's gonna be drawing nearer and nearer.
Yeah, I like watching a show when I hear the entire thing's good. Like right now, I'm watching a TV show called Spaced, which was made by Edgar Wright. Actually, it was an earlier project he did with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, who were in the Cornetto trilogy. And there's a lot of other people in it too. And it's like it's really there's only like 14 episodes of it. It was a pretty short series, but it's really good, and it's easier for me to get into a show where like people say, oh yeah, every episode is good.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Robot is a show I really want to check out. I watched the first 10 minutes of one episode and I loved it. It was one of those instances where I was watching something and then something stopped me from continuing, so now I need to start over.
Mad Men was the one show that was one of those shows that was just okay from beginning to end. It wasn't it wasn't terrible. It wasn't fantastic. I remember even after watching Mad Men, I found this one thing online. I don't know if it was recommended to me, probably, but like I think it was Family Guy or something that had this one joke of like comparing Mad Men to like those things that like you want to get into it but you just can't, and like they said Mad Men is like one of those examples, and it's like, yeah, after watching the entire show of Mad Men, I can agree with that. I don't know. People apparently people praise the show Mad Men. I don't know. There's a lot of
I know people who really like it.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I like the show's intro a lot. I've seen the show's intro and I think it's really cool.
There's a lot of characters that you see earlier on. Sometimes they're getting into certain things, like overall plots for those characters, and you're like, okay, after this they're gonna change, but they kind of stay consistent throughout the show of who they are, and like near the end of the show, the main character kind of changes a bit, but everyone else kind of feels the same. There's this one character, Roger, who's like this womanizer kind of guy. He's pretty much the same throughout the whole thing. He breaks up with his wife at one point, sure, but like, I don't know, she's kind of just the same dude. But I don't know.
I think
it's a bit underwhelming, in my opinion.
Yeah. I enjoy. I know we've talked about this too. I'll make it quick. I enjoy Steven Universe, but it's one of the only other kid shows I've been able to get into. Like, I think Gravity Falls and Steven Universe. That's about it. I guess Avatar too, but that was actually during my time when I was a kid. I was watching it, and like the first 3 seasons I think are pretty solid. There's bad episodes, but like most of it I really like. And then the 4th and 5th one, I like how they ended it. I like the last arc of the show. It's really rough though, those last 2 seasons. Like they have like all these big opportunities introduced in the 3rd season. They go full force. They develop the characters so much. And then more than like, I think like half of season 4, maybe more than half of it is filler episodes. They just completely drop the ball. Then the 5th one, they kind of just do a bunch of story stuff, but it's just not on big as a scale until the last arc.
Steven Universe is on Cartoon Network, right? Not Nickelodeon?
Yeah. And then, it's kind of like their big show. I mean, Adventure Time was their big show. I've given Adventure Time a chance, and I think it's funny, but it's not something I really want to watch more of. I hear the stories okay at first, but like the last like 3 or 4 seasons of the show are bad, so I'm not going to watch it. But I like the show, and then but the thing is, I feel like it does kind of redeem itself because the last story arc I really like. It is going to come back with an age gap apparently, and I did like the movie. For
season 4, did you do any research comparing like season 3's writers to season 4? Maybe they had a staff change or something. Maybe did you research what happened, or was it the same people that just thought, oh, we're going to do this?
I might rewatch. I've been rewatching some of the older episodes just because I started watching the show in 2015, and I never rewatched a single episode. So now I'm thinking like, okay, let's go back and like see if the show was ever good in the first place, or if I'm just I just liked it back then. I'm rewatching it. I watched like a couple of them, and I actually really like it again. Like like, no, I still think this is a pretty solid show.
Puts more evidence on the reasoning, or like what you really think of seasons 4 and 5.
I'm going to rewatch those and see if my opinion changes on them too. I don't know. I may have just been anxious to... The thing that they do...
Look, I would be disappointed too if there was a bunch of stuff in the previous season hyped up and stuff, and the following season is filler episodes. I can completely understand that.
Yeah. Hear me out though. What they do is the show is kind of split into 2 parts, and it's always been like that. There is stuff with the gems and the backstory and like the main story, and then there is episodes that just take place in the city they live in. And I think the reason they do that is there's so many times where the entire town is in jeopardy and they have to save everyone. And because they do the filler episodes where he's in the town engaged with everyone, now there's actual stakes when the town is in danger because you actually care about these people. It's not just a city full of random people. It's a city full of characters that have all had their own episodes and have all got to be a main character once or twice. So I think that's what they try to do. It's just watching the first season, I'm enjoying those episodes. I think they go so far into the story that stuff becomes super underwhelming when you rewatch it. I mean, when you have to go back to it is what I'm saying. At the start of the show, I like it. As the show goes on, I kind of just wish you've already developed these guys. Tone it back now.
Gotcha.
But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's just the way I feel right now.
Sometimes years and time does that to a writing team where they have all this stuff going on in their head. Sometimes they already have stuff done, but they feel like, before we do all this, let's do some more stuff that turns out to become the filler stuff, and they keep delaying until they feel like they're confident in pulling out this dream idea that they have for their characters to end this arc for them or what have you. I don't know. There's this eagerness, I feel like, but they get antsy.
I'd say like the last half or quarter of season 5. I forget how many episodes were season 5. I'd say like either the last half or last quarter of season 5 is like really solid stuff though. Like I felt like they redeemed themselves and then they made a good movie. So I'm happy with them again.
Okay.
But there was a point where I flat out me and Cody were both fans of the show. We would both talk about it, and it made it to a point where we were just both blatantly just flat out making fun of it every single time it came up, just because our opinion of it shifted so much. And now it's kind of won me over again, though. I think that I'm just overthinking a fucking show for 2-year-olds, but I will say this too. I think that definitely Gravity Falls is a better show, and it's the only other issue I have with freaking Steven is it's super sappy sometimes. Like
really corny.
It's really mushy, really corny, and I mean cringeworthy amounts. But then it does stuff that wins me over, like I said.
Power Rangers has done that so many times in the past, and it's moments like that I watch back. I'm like, this could have been characters that are sarcastic and jokey and real and relatable and kind of MCU feel, but still PG related, but not this 4-year-old feel of it that they're trying to do recently. They used to do there's a season of Time Force. The main villain had this. They did this prosthetic makeup on this one villain. It was looking all gross and stuff. They don't even have stuff like that anymore. It's very kiddish. I don't know. I don't like it.
There are parts in Steven Universe where it feels like they're taking notes from Barney.
Yeah.
It's just the thing is
festivals today. Let's go together as a friendship. All that stuff.
Yeah, friendship.
Bullshit. Pokemon's doing that nowadays too. So much about not nowadays. They've always done it, but they haven't never grown up out of that.
Yeah.
Pokemon Masters, love the game, love the gameplay, but there's times when you're talking to the trainers in the game, and I
don't even know what that is.
It's this new mobile game for Pokemon, where past trainers, gym leaders and stuff, are all in the game. You get to talk with them and get them to join you. But there's all these cutscenes that happen, and so much stuff is hey, that trainer over there. It's you think Pokemon should be used for toughness. No, because I'm best friends with my Pokemon. That's why we're winning, and not you.
Yeah,
stuff like that. It's come on.
I think my whole standpoint, all of this, the way that I justify being a fan of these things is it's I think it's okay to like stuff like this. I very much do like stuff like this. I think you have to be willing to admit, though, that at the end of the day, it's kind of a big fucking joke. You can't take stuff like Steven Universe or Pokemon seriously. You can enjoy. It's just like stupid Mario Bros.
With aspects, you gotta be look, it's not for me. Some things you can agree with and go with, but other things you're you just kind of pretend they never happen. I think let the moment go by.
I think just self-awareness is all that matters. You have to be acknowledging that this is after I watch something after I watch some really serious or gritty series that had a lot of really talented people behind it and does like this really deep, dark message or dark storytelling, I like to turn on something silly and more colorful and something that's a little bit more lighthearted.
The best kind of kid shows are the ones that look like they're going to be like that, but they do have meanings in the shows, and that
Yeah,
aren't,
I'm not saying
they're not like super subtle, but like they're not too deep and complex that kids will
I'm not
never
saying there
understand and
isn't-
only adults can. You know, there's a good balance with shows like that, like Gravity Falls.
I'm not saying
As
that
one
there's
example.
I'm not saying there's nothing to these shows, for sure. I think that there's some really smart stuff in Steven Universe, but I just think that it's like
It's a shame when they put opportunities like that and take them for granted, and they don't
for me it's just
appreciate what they could be
for me
building
it's
up.
like for me it's just appreciate what they do right. I do.
Yeah.
And I think it has a great art style. I think the music's really good, both the score and the actual songs written for the show. I think that the voice actors all do a great job, and I do think that there's some good messages in there for a children's show. It is a message for children, but I do think you just again like just some self awareness. It's okay to make fun of something that you like. I guess is what I'm saying. That's my whole stance. I'm a fan of stuff that I make fun of. We make fun of Richie so much in the Mackle and Zatch videos, but I think me and you would both consider ourselves fans of that show.
Supporters of growing. That's what I support.
I want them to grow too, but only some of the cast ever did that. Let's talk about them. Let's get to our movie discussion.
Hammer Boys.
Want to do
Good
Hammer Boys
segue
first?
since we just talked about Rachel. Let's go to Dane. Yeah. I don't know if I have much to say, but I was I mean, like always, Austin plays a great creepy guy. The final act where he's just killing all the partiers, which is great.
Yeah.
I read one thing in the comments section about how he doesn't use a hammer, he uses an axe because everyone else at the party is hammered, which for the title Hammer Boys, it makes sense. Like he in the previously in the movie he would use a hammer as his weapon, but he switched to axes because it didn't matter since everyone is hammered. And
did the horror element of the movie surprise you from what you saw in the trailer?
I didn't know what the film was about, and when I saw that he killed his parents for the first time, it was like, okay, this is interesting. This is like a drama / comedy / horror, especially the third act that I realized with Dane running through the forest. But it was fine. I think it was more of a comedy than anything.
I think so too. They literally throw a blooper into one of the scenes.
The final scene was just Dane riding happily ever after with Austin into the sunset.
They played Willy Wonka.
Yeah, but you know, it was a nice. I mean, it's still an amateur film. You know, there's you know, cheaper cameras, cheaper shots, and music that's sometimes shouldn't be there, but is, and it is what it is. Yeah.
You have anything else to say about it?
Unless if you bring up anything that I can think of, but
well, okay, I'll talk about a few things. I said a lot of this.
You did a whole
podcast
podcast on, so I'm sure
I'm
sure you like it.
Yeah, I do like it a lot. I do think it's very amateur, and there are even I like amateur film. I like watching stuff by smaller filmmakers. I occasionally will do an episode on like either an indie game or like some movie that just some YouTuber made.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like this movie for what it is, and there's not really much I'd want to change about it. My two biggest gripes, I'd say, I guess it's just one gripe. It's like technical. There's 3 examples I can think of. From a technical standpoint, most of the time I think it's pretty well made. The pool scene, the audio is very rough. They clearly had to add tons of noise reduction to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it does not sound intentional at all. Like in the party scenes where Dane is like going to the other party and trying to get more people to come to their party,
mm-hmm.
There's a lot of background noise and it's hard to hear them, but that's a good thing because that's what a party would actually be like. But then in the pool scene, it's just like very clearly they messed up the audio and they tried to fix it, and that was the best they could do. And I guess they couldn't reshoot the scene. Maybe the actors weren't available or they didn't have time to do that. then there was also, I think that this is kind of this might come off as a nitpick. To me, it isn't, but I feel like most people would be. I think opening and closing with a drone shot is kind of I don't know. It's
It was
cool.
out of place.
They were nice shots.
In the beginning, I thought we would see more of that, but like when it came to the end of the movie, I'm like, okay, so now not only am I thinking this is kind of unnecessary, but now I'm also thinking the beginning shot was unnecessary as well. If they're only doing it these 2 times,
and they're both pretty shots. They're both really good. Like the first shot looks okay. I just I actually did just think of some significance for them, but I don't think it's enough. I feel like drone shots are kind of lazy. But there is one thing I thought about just now that maybe gives it a little more. That opening shot is like very unsettling. It's like very dark and creepy. Like if you rewatch it, just pay attention to that. And then the last time you see it, it's playing like that music from Willy Wonka, and it's like a nice sun over the trees, and it looks really beautiful.
For me though,
so there's a contrast.
For me though, I think this both supports the drone shot and doesn't. At the same time, doesn't because like saying before like there should be more wouldn't make any sense. The fact that they're only pretty much at one location throughout most of the film, and you have those drone shots to show the new area that you're going to be in, and since there weren't any other areas, you wouldn't really need more drone shots anyway. And I don't even remember my other points, so that's all I can think of right now. I think I lost my train of thought, but you get the point I'm trying to make, I guess.
Yeah. And then the only other thing I can think of is there's a shot they reuse a couple of times, and it's weird. Anyway. But I really like it.
I want to say one more thing. I don't know if you saw that other film that they did.
Love Spoon.
Yeah, did you ever see that?
Nope, not yet.
Yeah, I personally like Love Spoons better.
Okay.
Compared to this.
I was looking up, I was at work, and I wanted to look up the movie real quick just to download it while I was at work, just so I didn't have to do it when I got home. And like an idiot, I typed in Hammer Boys on Google instead of YouTube, and just immediately a bunch of pornography popped up on my computer.
Damn. At work.
So I just wanted to share that story.
That's great. Did anyone see you get into any fancy conversations about that?
I'm in a cubicle, so
not
a lot of people see me, but yeah.
Just hopefully you deleted that history of yours. Oh boy.
Nope.
Boy.
I haven't cleared my history out in a while, actually. All right.
So Mike, we're gonna have to talk next week about something. Wink, wink.
My boss just goes to me, Michael. We all have to leave right now, but come to my office next morning.
I didn't know we were into the same porn. That's interesting. We should talk about that some other time.
I thought I was the only one. No, all those videos are mine.
The awkward situation where it was just a mistake.
I can't. I'm trying to think of any. Like we already brought up the lawnmower. That was one of my biggest notes.
The llama.
The lawnmower.
Oh, lawnmower. I said the llama. Yeah.
I don't know. I think that one thing I said in my podcast too. I'm just kind of rehashing stuff now. I think that it's cool. It's just cool to see all this. Dane, of course, just did Full Force. It's cool to see him like getting involved in a lot of projects. And this was Austin's movie, though. Mm-hmm. And I really like Austin's acting in this. I brought up the clicking noise in my podcast briefly, saying that he is not good at playing the straight man. He is not good at playing the voice of reason. I don't think he needs to be a murderer and psychopath and everything to be good. I think that he is. I think he has range for sure, but he is good at playing like
the oddball.
Yeah, the oddball, like whether it be like just like someone who's just like a little off, someone who's a little goofy like Brock, or the skit characters are often really funny. And sometimes he's like, it doesn't even have to be someone who's like just like a complete idiot or something. Like I like when he played the drug dealer in the Interactive Adventure.
Yeah.
Well, not that. I don't know if he was a drug dealer. He was like
he was this GTA character, yeah.
And he actually was more like normal. He was the normal one of that scene,
But that he's very good at playing socially awkward characters for sure, whether it's comedic or for what have you.
Dane to me didn't feel much different from what he's like in other videos, but at the same time, it worked fine for this movie.
Yeah.
But Austin, I really do feel like he can act if you give him the right part. I think he actually can act really well.
Mm-hmm.
And I like how fucking unsettling the conversation is. He's having that conversation with the one girl and talk how he liked her back then, and asks about hanging out, and it's just like really uncomfortable.
That dance was more uncomfortable for me. That whatever that was, just swinging side to side.
But then, like, he walks away, and I think it was either her or the guy who comes up to her calls him the wrong name right after he told them what his name was. And then that's when he starts the killing spree. Actually, and then he, like, says his name and starts fucking murdering people. I like the penis shot.
Yeah, there was two. Or
yeah,
three, possibly three. I think there. Yeah. Well,
I remember to me that was, like, just... they cut the dick off, and then there's another shot where they just, like, threw it into the shot. Like... Yeah. That felt very much like their skit comedy.
That'll stay on YouTube forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless people start to watch it.
Yeah, God. Don't watch this film, everyone.
No, stay up. Don't watch it. No, I really love it. There'll be a link in the description, of course. Oh, and yeah. I typed in Hammer Boys on YouTube today, and my derailed, even though it only has like 10 views, is one of the videos, like first results now. So this will be one of them too. It's going to be Hammer Boys trailer, Hammer Boys the movie, and then the 2 podcasts I did on it.
Writing this down. Okay.
All right. Let's talk about the Hateful Eight.
I personally enjoyed the film a lot. It's this really goofy comedy kind of western. Quentin Tarantino.
Comedy's a
bit of comedic stuff going on.
There's funny parts in it. I thought it was like one of the most fucked up Tarantino movies, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But just like the fucking scene with Samuel Jackson describing what he did to that guy's son, and I mean, they sound like awful people. Don't get me wrong, but it's so nasty. The whole thing is just such a nasty movie.
Yeah, the N-word is just constant in that film.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, probably the most, honestly. I haven't seen every single Tarantino movie, but I think it beat Pulp Fiction, and Pulp Fiction said it a lot, mainly only in one scene, but so yeah, I really loved it. Honestly, like, it's potentially a 10 out of 10 for me, but maybe a 9 just because it's like, I think the one act where it cuts to like what happened earlier in the day, it's not bad, but it's less interesting.
Oh, right. Yeah, I agree. Channing Tatum was kind of pointless to be in the film. Yeah.
But I really liked the whole thing a lot. It was just like, everyone warned me it's like his slowest movie. And I think it's one of his most enjoyable movies.
All of his films are pretty slow, but he takes his time. That's the point of Tarantino films. Really.
It's like this one only has like 2 settings, though. I understand that. But I just like the conversations are so good. The characters are so well written that you just get lost in their conversation. It's a 3-hour-long movie. I didn't feel the runtime at all.
Mm-hmm.
I loved like some of the cinematography in it. Like some of those close-ups on the horses near the beginning of the movie. Like really, really like nice perspectives, nice shots, nice angles they got. It's very nice to look at the entire time, and then the ending. So fucked. It's just so enjoyable the entire time.
It's hard to do that with a lot of westerns. Like that one, what's that one western thing with all the short films in it? Like that looked that looked visually appealing too. It's hard
for sure.
These 2 are the only westerns I can think of that are visually appealing to me. Maybe I just haven't seen enough, but
yeah, I'm trying to think of more.
To be fair, there's not as many modern day ones.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood had Western elements to it, and that looked nice. But I would say my ranking for the movies of his I've seen so far, and there are some I haven't seen yet. I've seen 5 of them. Yeah. I would say my first place is probably, I'd say first and second. It's like they're very close. Would be the Hateful Eight and Pulp Fiction. I loved both of them a lot.
Yeah.
Third place would probably be Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I really enjoyed that. Fourth would be Inglourious. Inglourious Bastard would be 4th. I like it, but I just think that like I feel like there's parts of it that are like the really strong parts, and then the rest of it's just good. It's good. Yeah. It's good. It doesn't blow me away. And then Reservoir Dogs is fifth, but Reservoir Dogs is an
I still
awesome
have to
first
see
movie.
that. There was one
It's
time I
an
tried to
awesome
record
first
it.
movie.
There was one time I tried to record, and when I started playing it, there was like this error thing that kept popping up, so I couldn't watch it. I have to try another time when there's another airing. But yeah,
I would
what I'm
give
looking forward to.
I keep losing my headphones. I'm sorry, my earbuds. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable where I'm sitting, so I keep changing how I sit.
You know what? There's one movie that I was gonna recommend. I might recommend a different one because there's another Tarantino film that you never mentioned, so I don't think you saw.
Probably not. I haven't
also on
seen Kill
Netflix.
Bill. I haven't seen Kill Bill 1 or 2. I
Same.
haven't seen Django. I haven't seen.
I've seen parts of it.
I haven't seen fucking Death Proof. And then there's Jackie Brown. I haven't seen that either. So
Yeah.
yeah, if you can change to one of those, I'll gladly watch it. I'm probably going to do a director's binge on it, which is.
I'll tell you right now. I think I should recommend you Jackie Brown, so we could at least talk about one more Quentin Tarantino film next time.
Yeah, sure. We'll do Jackie
I saw
Brown.
it a few weeks ago. I really liked it.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, it was. Insight. It was filmed in the '90s, but it looks like a '70s film. Like how it's shot and yeah, or just like the effects they put on it. It looks like a '70s film.
I hear Jackie Brown's. I mean, I haven't like honestly. I hear all of his movies are good. Obviously, there's always going to be some people that don't like certain movies. Like I'm sure that every Tarantino fan has at least one Tarantino movie they're not crazy about, from what I hear. Except for Tim. Tim seems to love everything he does.
So far, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood's the only one I'm not the craziest about personally, but that's just because I don't understand so many of the themes personally. I'm just an idiot. But
there is historical context that makes Once Upon a Time in Hollywood better. I had some of the context, but not all of it. Which really, you just need to know about. I don't want to spoil it because it's not part of the discussion. There's not a lot you need to know about. My knowledge of it was vague. I understood what was happening by the end of it, but not throughout.
Maya Hawke's cameo was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the whole thing, and now with the context, I like it even more. I would definitely. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood,
Gotcha.
And then Reservoir Dogs. I'd give an 8 out of 10 though. So I mean, the lowest score. Like even though it's at the bottom of my list, I still think it's an amazing movie. The Hateful Eight. I'm trying to think of like something specific to talk about. I normally take notes.
I forget the actor's name. The supporting guy. The guy who was taking the girl to kill her.
Yeah, wasn't that Kurt Russell?
Yeah, Kurt Russell. He was great in this film.
He was. Everyone was great. Honestly, everyone was great. I agree that the people who come in during the second to last chapter aren't as good, but they're not really. They're just there to tell that part of the story. Really, they're not the characters that you hear talking throughout the whole movie and really like. I like how Samuel L. Jackson's character becomes really good friends with the new sheriff by the end of it.
Yeah.
Even though they were like the biggest enemies at the start.
Yeah.
I fucking love. I felt. Kurt Russell's character, was probably the only character in this movie at any point I actually felt genuinely bad for. Because he just seems so fucking heartbroken by the Lincoln letter being fake, and just the way that Samuel Jackson says, is that true? Is it bullshit? And he's like, of course it is, man. That's just so.
I love the energy that Kurt Russell put into this entire film. Like, he's just always shouting. He's always shouting at someone or into the air, like just in the room. He just wants to be heard. He's just, I feel like in any other context, like if we got a prequel movie of this character, he's just this guy who's like asking for attention, like constantly. He's amazing. He wants everyone to know that.
He is still they're all really nasty people. He might be the easiest one to like, maybe. Yeah. They're all pretty nasty though. Every single one of them is a pretty awful human being.
The old man, I love during that prequel shot. But the best thing about that prequel act was when they're telling the old man hey, there's these guys that are gonna come, you're gonna cooperate. And he's like, oh yeah, I don't care about these people. I don't care about you. Yeah, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So terrible.
He was also in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah,
he was George.
Knows that too.
Yeah, he was good in that scene too. He's really good at being.
I don't know who that actor is, but he's great in both of those Tarantino films.
He's a good old man.
Very good old man. Would old man again. 10 out of 10.
Oh,
But yeah, I saw this film Hateful Eight twice technically because I saw the extended version, which should not even exist. There's like very little added to it, and it's also split up in episodes, and some acts are rearranged differently, but that's it. And I feel like the movie version is structurally perfect. The way it is.
So some of the chapters aren't in the same order.
Like one or two, like two of them are maybe swapped or something. I don't know. It's just a really unnecessary extended version.
Do they play the like
everything?
Second to last
Everything
chapter
from
first?
everything from the movie is in this, plus a few little other things, and that's it.
But you said they messed up the order.
Yeah.
Then I was actually gonna open this segment up,
Not drastically.
asking you about that again, because we kind of argued about that last episode.
Mm.
If they actually messed with the order, then I would understand why you told me not to watch the extended cut. I thought you were telling me not to watch the extended cut because you just didn't like the few scenes
It doesn't
they
piss me
added.
off that it's out of order in some way, but it's how unnecessary this version is that it even exists.
See, I don't see
pointless.
them adding extra scenes as a problem. I would see them changing the order of the way the story was told as a problem, though, because I think the order is really good.
There's literally a scene that they added in for the extended version, which is one of the few, maybe like 2 or 3 things were added. There's just one scene of Kurt Russell taking a piss when they're on their way still to the cabin. Like, they decided to keep that in the extended version. This is
And you decided Michael doesn't need to see that. Michael doesn't.
It's unnecessary.
I would have loved that, Zach.
It's just so dumb.
Um,
Scenes like this and 2 other clips, yeah, we should make a whole extended version out of this. And then rearrange 2 acts and... okay.
I really, I like this
We'll
scene.
monetize it.
I like the guitar scene, actually, when she's just playing a song for a while. That was nice. That was a nice little break before things got chaotic and they did the poison with probably the most gruesome poison death I've ever seen in a movie.
Mm.
Like, they're just throwing up blood. It looks horrible. That'd be like the most horrifying thing to be someone who just drank that shit and saw it happen to someone else.
I love through her song she's like foreshadowing, like, or trying to foreshadow, like, they're just gonna die, you're gonna get fucked, like, I've got something in store for you. I don't know, just always with her and Kurt Russell's character always clashing, and like him always, punching her or hitting her, like, horrible. Which is also really funny when there's also like all the, like, out of any character in this film, I feel like she's had the worst, and like there's that stigma of like don't hit women, all that stuff, and like Kurt Russell's just always going at her.
Tarantino doesn't give a shit. He'll do it. He doesn't care like what fucking
elbows her in the nose, like she screams at the top of her lungs so many times in this film.
Yeah,
shoots her foot. Samuel L. Jackson, I think, shoots her foot at some point. She's screaming bloody murder.
Yeah, there are people out there who hate Tarantino for that, but you know what? I'm happy that there's a film director that... I don't think that you should do stuff just for the sake of pissing people off, but I don't ever feel like that's what Tarantino does. I just think he does
She's
not
a genuinely
filter
toxic
himself.
Character. She deserves
he does
it
not,
100%.
He does not filter his work to be PC, and I appreciate that. I also don't feel like he does it just to piss people off too. I think the foot fetish thing is something that he's embraced, especially after watching Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I think that is something that he is completely cool with embracing. But yeah, that was weird.
Don't forget that ass shot too of her talking to Brad Pitt. Literally, the camera's like 90% her ass.
Oh, I feel creepy for knowing what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think she was of age. I think it's fine, right?
In the movie, she wasn't.
But the actress was.
Okay.
And that's all that matters.
Okay.
Hopefully.
I'm gonna get out of this one.
In my opinion.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I don't know, it's weird. but it was done in several scenes. I don't know. Yeah. But so let's okay, other scenes. I like the scene, like, I like the scene where they're like trying to figure out who did the poison and Sue. That's a really fun scene to watch. Like, very good dialogue. What?
When they're all lined up against the wall.
Yeah. And Samuel L. Jackson does a really good job of narrowing it down. Since I know you,
He was honestly like biased the whole time because the whole time he was like trying to point people toward the Mexican. Anyway, he was gonna get to that. But then even after, he's still interrogating. But I love, like, he knows the first person he's going to take out is the Mexican. That was the whole thing from the very first time he started to communicate with the Mexican, like he knew.
Wasn't that the sheriff?
What?
Wasn't that the sheriff who was saying
No,
that?
no, because Samuel Jackson's character and the Mexican were in the barn together, putting the horses away, and that's
Oh,
when
yeah.
He was, from then until the end, until his death, he was like, he was staring him down like a hawk the whole time.
I actually forgot all about that character. Yeah, the sheriff went after the other character. What was his name?
The British one or the gruffly sounding one?
The gruffly sounding one.
Which, by the way, is a perfect casting, and he was also in Once Upon a Time, but he's like the perfect casting for a Western film.
Who was he in Once Upon a Time?
He had a brief cameo. He was also he was one of the actors on the Western film set for one of the DiCaprio's characters' films, and like I think DiCaprio was maybe on a horse talking down to him.
Okay.
But, yeah, he was dressed up as a cowboy, which is like, I'm guessing that actor gets a lot of Western roles since he was in Hateful Eight and this as a Western cowboy extra guy.
Tarantino does cast a lot of the same people.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of directors do that though. Like Wes Anderson works with Bill Murray a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just really like how that entire scene goes. Then the ending, of course, is just the fucking hanging scene. So fucking nasty.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like that's the best way I can describe this movie. The Hateful Eight is a great title for it. It's a very nasty, hate-filled movie.
Do you think they ever made it out since they were both bleeding out? Yeah.
No, they're dead. They're dead.
People just found them.
Yeah.
That's a shame. But at least they hung the witch.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about everything I have to say about that, though. I think 9, maybe 10. I don't know yet, but I really love it.
Yeah.
Anyway, movie recommendations. So you want me to do Jackie Brown?
Yes.
And have you ever seen Taxi Driver?
No. What is Taxi Driver? I've heard.
It's an older movie. It's a classic. So it's
is that a Robert De Niro movie?
Yeah.
I've seen that on Netflix. The thing. Yeah, I've been curious about that.
Yeah, it's very. I watched it. Like I loved it. I absolutely loved it, and I think you'll like it too.
Okay. Yeah, I'm curious about that one. I wasn't sure if I should or not. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, all right, Jackie Brown and Taxi Driver next episode. I think we'll be possibly having I don't want to say who yet, just because I actually didn't confirm it, but a guest for episode 4, and that person may or may not join us for the movie discussion. So I don't know if there'll be a recommendation next week. I'll keep you posted, Zach. I want to end it. Do you have anything else you want to talk about it before I do our new closing segment?
No. What's the new closing segment?
The question generator.
Oh no.
Remember that from the first one? We did that last time.
I don't remember that at all.
Last time it was like, I think, tear-jerking scenes in movies. Okay. What is the craziest, most outrageous thing you want to achieve? That's a stupid question.
Become liked.
I want to learn what sex is. All right.
Yes.
So
neither is gonna happen. Nope.
And here's Barry's appearance for the episode. I'm not actually sure if this is Barry, because he just popped up and he's not saying anything.
Keep dropping him.
It could be Barry's.
During the audio test, you had this really loud dropping of Barry Boner, the Bean Boozler, who's not really a Bean Boozler anymore. Who is this guy really now?
Well, it could be Barry came back from the dead somehow. It could be one of Barry's relatives. Something. It's not beryllium. It's not beryllium fancy sin because he doesn't have a unibrow
yet.
And even if he tried to shave it off, like it would grow back within seconds. That's how the fancy
on the bone. Hair
fancy
growing on
brothers
the bone.
Work.
Yeah.
So I don't. This is not. It's either Barry or a sibling. I haven't been able to.
You haven't even decided.
I haven't communicated. I haven't been able to talk to him.
Ah.
He's not saying anything.
Make him talk.
He just showed back up.
You know what to do. Take out the chair. I don't know.
Maybe I need to like crack him open and put beans in him.
You gotta research proper interrogation techniques and display it onto him, and then he'll talk.
If this is our Barry, then he needs to return to his role as the Bean Boozler. So maybe I should like next episode I should break them open
Karate chop his ass.
and put some of those beans in. We
Yeah.
could do like the beans, like see if they taste good or bad.
Yeah.
I mean, you won't be able to do it unless you buy some, but
I don't even eat them, so you're just gonna have to eat them all for me. You're gonna eat 2.
so that'll
One for you, one for
possibly be something I do throughout the episode next
me.
time.
We'll see. Yeah.
We'll see.
Anyway.
That'd be a good way to continue the lore. Gotta have we have to have a little lore every episode. That's the rule of the season. A little lore every episode.
Yes.
Where
Take care. Good night. Chalamot meini. That's what my dad used to say before my sister and I went to sleep every night. It's like sleep tight, something like that. Some bullshit Israeli thing. Anyway.
I'm gonna look up how
Chalamot
old that
meini.
actress from Once Upon a Time is now.